don't know why it does that. Hey guys, how you doing? It's the Pearlo Wisdom Show. I was supposed to do a video on Shifley being traded. I got doing a bunch of stuff and I completely forgot. And now I don't know when I'm going to do the video. I got it ready. I got it set up. But apparently, it sounds like Shifley might get traded out of Winnipeg. Hey. And I got a bunch of places he could go, but it was actually more difficult than I thought. I mean, he's a great contract. Shifley, he's on a great contract for a couple more years. He's a true number one center. He's proven to be a true number one center. But it was odd when, you know, the market for centers out there is a little tough. It's not really, I don't know if it's, it sounds like Winnipeg is wanting to change things up. I mean, you got to like, they haven't gotten past the second round in a long time. They missed the playoffs this time. And it's possible they may be looking at their leadership and going, you know what, are we really where we need to be here? It was Elliot Friedman that came up with this concept. They got to sign Dubois right now. And amazingly, Winnipeg is capped out. You never want to be capped out and not make the playoffs at the same time. Like, that is a bad combination. So I think, you know, people up in the Winnipeg brass, they're probably like, you know, what are we going to do here? We can't be capped out. We did our part. We gave you all the money. We allowed you to cap yourself out, and we still missed the playoffs. Like, what are we going to do here? Well, they're not going to get Bedard, I don't think. Oh, maybe like I see what you mean. Like, sell it all away. I don't know. I don't think they could sell enough to be bad enough for that, though. That's the thing. Oh, it's just, I can't tell if they played bad. I did a stream with Peyton last night. Hey, how you doing? It's Brian from Sports Entertainment. I did a stream with Peyton last night. Some of you might have been on it. I know Weichel was. And yeah, it's really hard to judge how good Edmonton was last night. Like, it's hard to judge anybody against the Ducks right now. They have nothing. They got nothing. Gibson actually like puts his arm up, like he looks like it's like, okay, get the season over. We're done. That's it. I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, that's what he looks like. And they got to move him this summer. They got to move him. And that's an attitude problem. I just did a trade Gibson video. But I'm starting to wonder now if I really do want Gibson. The more I go around and send the video out to people on Facebook and I hear their responses and stuff, the more I start wondering, there's an aspect of Gibson that I don't want, and that's it. Like, are you going to just mail it in on us if we have a bad year? Now, in his defense, it's been more than a bad year. Like, they really haven't been all that. He's basically held them together for his career. And I think he just sees his career fading away. He's 28 years old. He's reaching his peak. And now you trade away Lindholm and Manson, but still, to so openly express it like that is a little disrespectful as far as I'm concerned to an organization that does pay you $6.2 million a year to perform what you do. So that kind of doesn't sit well with me. But that being said, that really takes the edge off of whether I want Gibson or not. What doesn't take the edge off of whether I want Gibson or not is that in the right situation where he knows that he can win a cup and stuff and he can provide the, you know, really perform the way we know Gibson can perform, he's as good as almost anyone out there. Like, he's up there in the upper echelon of goaltenders, top 7 in the league type thing. So it's going to be an interesting summer. It looks like he's more than likely going to be sent on his way. And yeah, I got to go with the Bruins there, but I got a funny feeling. I got the Bruins, but I don't like taking teams that like on a back-to-back like that. Like the Bruins beat Columbus last time. And I know Columbus is bad, but there is a point where you want to save some face, right? And the thing is, though, what I love about the Bruins, and I think this energy comes a lot from Marchand, is that they love rubbing it in your face. That's what I love about the Bruins. They quite often win these games. Like the Bruins won a cup because they know how to spit on you when you're down. And they're not going to have there's not even a subconscious thought with most of the Bruins of feeling bad for the Columbus Blue Jackets. The exact opposite. They want to crap all over them today. They're just like we own you. And of course, Brad Marchand actually said those words to Maroon. He says those words. I own you. I own you. And that's what I like about the Boston Bruins. They want every team in the league to believe that they own them. That's what they want. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was all about. They had Swayman confirmed this morning. Maybe there's something up with Swayman. I don't know. I don't know. Let's look at what do they have after this? They're going to use Swayman for Detroit, I guess. I mean, it's a back-to-back, right? So they just choose to use Swayman for Detroit instead. Give the kids some confidence against a Detroit team that, they should be able to ruin pretty good. Boston will have a more energized team against Columbus. So really, they're kind of saying that Swayman is the better goaltender by doing that. They're kind of putting their belief in Swayman by doing that. Because Swayman's going to be the goaltender they're using for the more tired Boston team. So they're actually putting more confidence, is the word I'm looking for. They're putting more confidence in Swayman. Get my hat on. Yeah, there we go. That feels better. They're putting more confidence in Swayman. Although Columbus may be the better team, Detroit will be playing the more tired Boston team. The more, because it's on a back-to-back. So they're going to use Swayman for the back-to-back, which is kind of silly because it used to be, and it's happening less, and I always wondered why it happened so much before. But it used to be that the backup always got the second game of the back-to-back, which was basically using your least effective goaltender behind your most tired team. And I always wondered why they did that. I guess there's you would think you would use your most effective goaltender on the second game, but they're doing that more now. No Nylander tonight? Really? What happened to Nylander? I don't think so. I don't think that means he believes in Allmark more than Swayman. Oh, he's just sick? Okay. Well, what does that make their lineups look like? That changes things a little bit, I have to admit. I wonder if I should go Tampa now. That's a pretty significant loss. Kerfoot, Tavares, Mikhaev, Marner, Matthews, Bunting. Oh, Nylander's in. He hasn't been taken out of the lineup. I think they're playing games. I think they're playing some games there. Who's this Nick Abruzzi? He's 5'10". Oh, out of Harvard. Okay. 33 points in 28 games. Oh, nice. I didn't know that. I wasn't paying attention to that. No, I didn't see the puck drop. No. I generally don't see the beginning of most games. I have to admit, I generally don't see the beginning of most games. I'm usually watching the middle of all the other games. And then, like, I never hear a national anthem. I never hear a national anthem. The only time I hear the national anthem is if I'm doing a stream specifically that night. But besides that, I never hear a national anthem. So I never see the beginning of the games. And here's another funny thing. I seldom watch the highlights on Sportsnet and stuff like that. I very seldom, because I'm working on other stuff when I do that. Hey, Mark Brown, how you doing? But I didn't see it. Sounds like it would have been cool, though. John streaming Jackets versus Bruins tonight? Oh, cool. I got to do one with John soon again. I'm always doing one with Peyton. Tonight I'm busy because I have to put a table together for my wife and stuff. And tomorrow, by the way, my wife officially becomes Canadian. So that's a cool thing. Right. Sorry about that. Yeah, she officially. So I'm not going to be on tomorrow. We got a whole bunch of things going on tomorrow. So, wow, what was she before she was Canadian? Well, she's going to be. She's still going to be a resident. She's still going to have her. She's still going to be a Filipino. She's from the Philippines. She's still going to be a card-carrying Filipino, but she's also going to be. She could have dual citizenship, Canadian and Philippines. Yeah, she's pretty happy about it. She's got me. I got to get all dressed up. She's got to do some inauguration here for in front of the computer and all this kind of stuff. So she's pretty excited. She loves Canada. She just loves it here. And my son, which her he's from the Philippines too, and like he loves it here too. So they both love Canada quite a bit. They're very happy to become Canadian. But anyways, yeah, Shifley looks like that's going to be one of the most interesting stories of the offseason, I think. Shifley being traded. As far as no, I don't. I don't trust Jack Campbell tonight. I mean, how can you trust Jack Campbell right now? He could be good. He could not be good. I'm off that game. I don't trust. Vasilevsky hasn't. Tampa Bay hasn't looked good. I don't know who's going to win that game. I'm leaning Tampa because Tampa seems to come out when the big boys come out to play. Tampa usually sucks but on the same note, it almost feels to me like Tampa doesn't care about the regular season right now. So I don't know which one to take. I really don't. I don't know. Perlini be Black Ace? Like, you mean come up and play and be one of those guys that does like a Pisani did back in the day? I doubt it with Perlini. He's not in good enough shape. He's good for a game or two, but that's it. Well, yeah, I was just, I looked on, I was supposed to do that today, Shifley trade video. And I got doing a bunch of stuff, and then I was like, thinking to myself, I feel like I forgot something. And then I sat down to do the show, and then it came to me, that's what I forgot. I forgot to do the Shifley video because I got all of it set up in my toolbar here to do. But it would be kind of weird for them to get Shifley now that they have Kopp. I'll leak a little bit here. I think if Shifley does go to the Rangers, the player going back, the only player that makes sense going back is Lafreniere. Because then you're going to have to use Kopp. I think you could make Kopp the third line center, I suppose. But I mean, you got a pretty expensive. He's making 6.7 million. He's on a beautiful contract for the next 2 years. Kopp's going to want about 5. Shifley's making 6.5. I guess you could put Kopp as a third line center, but then who are you going to trade? I'm pretty sure Winnipeg, if they're not going to get a guy like Lafreniere, they're going to be picking off your defense like crazy. And I did like the Rangers because let me look a little deeper. Maybe that's why I didn't do the video, is I didn't look deep enough into what this will be. I think Andrew Kopp's going to get 5 to 5.5. Ryan Strome's gone, so we don't have to worry about that. How much cap space will they have? So you're going to have 11 million. I mean, there's lots of guys they don't have to sign, I suppose. They're going to sign Kopp, though, for sure. That'd be 5 of the 7 million right there. And then 6.5, and then you got no room for anybody else, depending on who you send back. Maybe Ryan Lindgren's time to move on with Andre Miller there. And I mean, they got a lot of young players coming up. What do you think? Maybe there's more to it than I thought. Basti's going to play tonight. Cooper does that every time. Cooper waits right to the end before he puts somebody in. Always, always, always. It's annoying, but he does it all the time. So what do you think, Mark Brown? You assume Lafreniere? The thing is I don't think Winnipeg really needs lefties either, do they? They got, oh yeah, they don't have to sign Stastny. But, I mean, if they trade Scheifele and they don't get a center back, then they're going to have to find a center, I suppose, which is probably going to be more expensive than Scheifele. Like, I think if this really does happen, it's kind of weird. Like, there has to be a disconnect that's happened with the team and Scheifele for whatever reason. Because he's on a beautiful contract and he's a #1 center at $6.some million for the next couple of years. If you do trade, like say they do a Scheifele for Lafreniere trade straight across, maybe they get Lafreniere and Hedl. But Hedl's not your second line center. You know that as well as I do. And so you're going to have Dubois as your #1 center. It just leaves a pretty big hole up the middle that you're going to have to fill anyways. And it's going to be way more expensive than Scheifele, I would think. Like, you're now looking for a true #1 center. Dubois is your #1 center? Hey, Lorne, haven't seen you around for a while, buddy. How's it going, my friend? But yeah, it's an interesting, you know what, now that I'm glad I didn't do the video yet, because New York may be more, and how many times is Winnipeg and New York going to trade? Kako, Hedl, Lundqvist. I don't like, see, I guess if they like those guys, I like Kako. I love Kako. Kako's a righty. How's he going to fit there? Where's he going to fit? You got Ehlers and I don't think he plays the left, or does it? Can he play the left side? You know more than I do. How well can he play the left side, Kako? Yeah, he's a righty, straight righty. You think that's? No, I don't think that's too much for Scheifele. I think the Rangers are getting. I think that's. I don't. I think that's a fair deal. I just don't know if Winnipeg is looking to get another right winger. That's all. Yeah, I just don't know if they're going to look to get another right winger. Unless they go and trade Wheeler, which they should do, then that's a different thing altogether. But I don't think anybody's taking Wheeler's. He's 35 at $8 million for. I don't think anybody's taking that. I don't. Or they could convert Wheeler back to the middle again. Maybe that's what they want to do. I never even thought about that. Wheeler is a center, right? Maybe that's it. Wheeler can play center. So if you put you could put Wheeler between I don't know if you re-sign Stastny, but Connor and Ehlers, and Dubois could play with Kakko and Connor. And then Lundqvist, I don't know. I think I want a little better than Lundqvist maybe, but you know, you're right. Kakko is a special player that just hasn't put up. He's had some injuries and stuff. So I think that's a fair offer for sure. I think it's a fair offer. If they decide to put Wheeler back up the middle again, which he has played most of his career, that deal makes more sense then. No, for sure. But I think for a center on his, I just feel like I want a little more than Lundqvist. But if they really like him, Lundqvist for whatever reason, then the deal works. I mean, you're not giving up a Schneider if you're giving up Kakko. No way. I'm not sure I want Hedl any way, shape, or form. He just doesn't really. They have to believe that Hedl can be what he can be. I believed in Hedl for a long time, and now it's starting to wane quite a bit. It just doesn't seem like he's ever going to become what I ever thought he was. I thought he'd be a good second line center somewhere down the road. The Wild surprised me more when they beat Washington, actually. But actually, I had the Canes to win that against the Wild, too. But I'm never again going against Fleury. Fleury changes everything for Minnesota. Bruins versus Marc-Andre Fleury. What do you mean? In the third round? How can that happen? You mean you would have to say the finals, Boston versus Minnesota? I would not be surprised. I mean, if you to know how highly I think of Fleury, I thought that Chicago would make the playoffs this year. And I still think they might have had a chance to if they didn't have that scandal go the way it did. I think that ruined everything for them. Yeah, the Rangers are one of the 5 teams for sure. No doubt about it. And I'm glad I didn't do it because you got me thinking more now about the Rangers making more sense. But like, how many times have they traded? They, like you said, Trouba, Kropp. I mean, it seems like Winnipeg is trying to build like an ex-Rangers group there. You know, Carolina does the same thing. And I think that what they do is, I think they try to identify the people that aren't really big in the big city of New York. And, you know, are happier in a smaller town environment. And so plucking those guys from New York is a pretty good idea. So I don't know. We just mentioned a couple names. I don't know if Kakko is a New York kind of guy or like what he is. Where is he from? I know he's from Finland, I believe, right? Yeah, he's from Finland. Turku, Finland. I think that's a smallish type town there. And he's used to winter. He's from Finland, so he's used to winter. That's why they have a lot of Finns in Winnipeg. He's used to winter, might even like winter for all I know. Smaller town environment, maybe he's not a New York type of guy. Like Kakko might make sense. Fleury to the Leafs in the offseason? I think Fleury is going to Pittsburgh. I do. I think Fleury's going to Pittsburgh. Fairly comfortably, I suppose. Yeah, Edmonton is. No, I don't think. I think he's going to Pittsburgh. Anderson didn't have a great game. That's really what it comes down to. Carolina outplayed Minnesota that game, and Washington outplayed Minnesota too. They just got the bounces. That was it. Carolina, didn't they outshoot them by like 15 shots or something like that? Like Anderson didn't have his strongest performance, that's for sure. I think the Island. Carolina will trounce Buffalo. I feel sorry for Buffalo. Whenever that game is, I'm taking Carolina -1.5 all day long. Buffalo is not even going to know what hit them. They're going to totally just. They're going to chew up Buffalo and spit them out that game. That's going to be an angry game. After losing to Minnesota like that, Buffalo is going to get spanked all over the arena. The Islanders will be a little more difficult, but I think the anger will carry on to them too. I think Carolina is very unhappy that they lost that game against Minnesota, and yeah, I think they're pretty comfortable in a playoff spot because it's only Dallas, right? No, I didn't want scores. Shoot, I want standings. Standings. Let's see, Edmonton is 85 points. No, they're not. I mean, Dallas could catch them, I suppose. Can you believe there's only 12 games left in the season? Like, my gosh, the season's almost over. This is the regular season's not only a month away. Comfortable, but I mean, this is the Edmonton Oilers and their defense. Not, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that they drop the ball. I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't put it past Edmonton to drop the ball at all here. Yeah, and what do they got? They got a pretty easy. I think they got a pretty easy lineup, except for Colorado. Oh, they got San Jose next. They should win that. Then LA, and then they come home against Colorado. Like Calgary right now is they got a it's not a tough road trip, but it's like just kind of a grueling road trip. They got LA tonight. They want to win that hard. Then they got Anaheim. Like my mom could beat Anaheim right now. Seriously. My mom could beat Anaheim. Bill's mom could beat Anaheim right now. They are just a disgrace of a team right now. Horrible, 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 horrible. Riding it out, get your draft pick and move on. But that's on a back-to-back, and then they got San Jose. And then Seattle gets that, like Seattle beat Dallas in the same spot. It's a tough road trip. Once it gets to Seattle, the teams are tired and defense is absolutely atrocious. Atrocious. I was I well, I've been saying it all year. I can't stress it enough how bad their defense is. And the thing is, you go on the forums for Oilers, and there's guys trying to, you know, all they say is goaltender, goaltender, goaltender. And I get it. It's harder to admit that your defense sucks. It's nice to think that you're just a goaltender away rather than three defensemen. But Elliot, oh my gosh, Elliot. Elliot has come to grace the stage. Look at that. Holy crap, man. Yeah, Oilers are overrated, no doubt about it. Oilers are overrated, for sure. I always hear you blabbing over at the ice guys there, Elliot. No, they both suck. They both suck. But I personally think the defense is worse than the goaltenders. I personally think the defense is worse than the goaltenders in Edmonton. But I mean, you're probably just, that's like picking liberal or conservative. They're both like pretty bad. So it doesn't really matter. Like they both suck so bad. So what does it matter? So a politician's a politician. Shitty defense is shitty defense. Shitty goaltending is shitty goaltending. They have both. It's amazing now that this coach has done a really good job of them playing a very strong offensive possession game, but that's just can't hold up in the playoffs. Can't hold up in the playoffs. Do you have anything in you right now, Elliot? Yeah, it seems like a draw there too. The only thing with that, Doug, is I have a feeling that LA is getting a very angry Calgary team tonight. Like, and they deserve to be angry because they outplayed St. Louis all to crap. Like, they've been losing when they didn't deserve to lose, and that only goes for so long before the levee breaks, and the levee could break tonight against LA. I'm not sure, but Koskinen's just not good. He's not good enough for that defense. He'd be okay somewhere else, but not there. Yeah, I like Tampa, especially now that Nylander is out. I don't trust Campbell. I'm not like in love with Tampa, but I'll probably put a sliver on Tampa tonight. You have Kings at home PL. Everybody's on that LAPL tonight, yeah. They're handing it to you. They're handing it to you at 240 to put it in a parlay. It feels like a parlay ruiner to me. Rangers win the cup. They're too green, dude. Their defense is too green. I can't see it. But if Shesterkin goes off, I mean, how many times have we seen it over and over again? That's why I always like people that say, like, I got Gibson looks like he could be available in the summertime. And I'm sending out to Toronto and stuff like that. And they said, no, Campbell's going to be this and we're going to go with Campbell. I go, you're a freaking idiot. Seriously. If you get an opportunity to get, I know Gibson hasn't been spectacular this year, but he gave up the ghost. Like, you can only try so much before you just, and I mean, if there is a red flag with him. Like, he sort of gave it up. Let's face it. Gibson sort of gave up this year. That's a bit of a red flag. But when that guy's playing on the top of his game, and if he's in the right situation, he's one of those goaltenders that can win a cup for you. He's in the Price levels and all of those guys like that. But people want to roll the dice with goaltenders. People argue with me. I would trade Draisaitl for Shesterkin in a heartbeat. I love Draisaitl. Don't get me wrong. But you give me a top 3 elite goaltender over a top 5 elite forward, I'll take the goaltender all day. Look at, are the Oilers going to win a cup with Draisaitl right now? With that goaltending, no. If you take Draisaitl out and put Shesterkin in, can the Oilers win a cup? Maybe, but definitely not without it. Yeah, I got Calgary under too. Yeah, until last night. I didn't watch the game last night. But what the hell happened? How do the Rangers lose to the Philadelphia Flyers, for the love of God? They outplayed them. And recently, Shesterkin hasn't been the best. Oh, yeah, Montreal Canadiens. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they didn't win the cup, but they made it to the finals, and they had no business being there at all. Montreal fans try to tell me that, what about this guy? What about that guy? Just shut up. Seriously. You take Price off that roster and take ex-goaltender like Anderson or, like a top 10 rather than a top 3 goaltender in there. Montreal gets nowhere near that cup. Nowhere near it. It's all Price. That was all Price. Yeah, because they're young yet. Give the Rangers 2 more years, maybe even next year. I can say next year too, probably. Give them 1, maybe 2 more years, and that team is going to be just stupid. Stupid. Schneider with another year or 2. Fox with another year or 2, some more experience, some more playoff experience. If they make the deal that we were just talking about for Schneider, but you're right, they could do it this year. You might as well throw a little bit on it. Shesterkin's the type of goaltender that can take just about can take an average team to the finals for sure, no doubt about it. Well, I mean, really, I think that game, I could be wrong. Did you guys watch it? I think that game might have been on Shesterkin more than anything. Like, the Rangers really outplayed them. And who thinks Jones? Yeah, Devils game over every chance you get. That's right. Yeah. Pretty much free money, that is. Free money. Columbus is get pretty much there too. If the Devils and Columbus, if the Devils and Columbus Blue Jackets play each other, Take the over at two. Take the over at 7.5. You get killer odds on that. Just take it over 7.5. Team total over each. Over first period. Over in any way that you could possibly imagine. Well, I don't, including the goalies, I still don't trust Bobrovsky yet. I don't trust him. I don't know about you, but I don't trust Bobrovsky yet. And I still want to see Florida play tired. If you notice, like if you watch all through the season, the end of road trips, they struggle. They're getting better, though. They're getting better. They just, if it's weak competition, they're good. They beat Buffalo. That was a nice win. They beat Buffalo. That was a nice win. The comeback with New Jersey is cool. But those are all high-scoring games. I don't think I have yet to see a team be able to play like Florida. Yeah, I've yet to see a team that plays like Florida win a cup. It hasn't happened yet. Every team that plays like Florida does not win a cup yet. Toronto tried. Tampa Bay had to change their game, man. They had to learn how to play in the tight playoff type hockey, and I haven't seen Florida do that yet. Yeah, I mean, unless they got some sort of surprise for me that they're going to be able to play some shutdown game. I'll tell you what, getting Sherratt didn't do anything for that. They overpaid all the shit for Sherratt. Yeah, people loved, he was amazing in Montreal's run. No, he wasn't. He hit people and put himself out of position all the time, and Price saved it. That's what happened. People just see the big hits and, he blocked lots of shots. Yeah, because he was in his own end all the time. That's why he blocked lots of shots. He was in his own end all the time. They overpaid for Sherratt in a big bad way. That didn't really help him at all. So, that being said, don't get me wrong. I love the team. It's just they gotta learn how to play playoff hockey. I gotta see it first before I can take Florida to win any cups. Well, yeah, for sure. Look at what Washington did. Size does matter in the playoffs, for sure. Just because you're going to get worn down. It's a different game, a physical game, for sure. Size definitely matters. I just don't know if they can make it there. That type of game is very taxing, man. They play like a very high tempo, offensive style game where they swarm the opposition in the offensive zone. In the regular season, you got the talent that they have, and you do that in the regular season, yeah, you're going to beat the shit out of a lot of teams. No doubt about it. In the regular season, yeah, you can do that. But when you get in a playoff in a 7-game series and whoever you're playing with is beating you down just as much as you're beating them down, eventually the legs are going to go, and then you're going to have to learn how to play a different way. And I haven't seen that from Florida yet. Minnesota did it against Vegas. That was pretty impressive. They slipped into a trap and did it against Vegas. And, I didn't see that coming. I hadn't seen them really play a trap game all year. That was like really cool coaching there. Yeah. Yeah, it was a big overpayment. A first and a prospect. But he was going to get it. He knew he was going to get it. Leafs lose 10-0 to Tampa Bay. I was surprised. I did watch the Ice Guys today there, Elliot. I don't know if you did. They were all over Toronto tonight. I don't know. Oh, I didn't talking about the Ice Guys. And I don't mind I love the Ice Guys. Go watch their program. It's fantastic. I freaking love them. They're great. I don't mind promoting good content of anybody out there, and those guys are absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend you check them out. Talking about that, they were talking about the Yandel thing, and Jimmy. I love Jimmy. Okay, I do love Jimmy on the Ice Guys, but dude, I'm friends with Yandel, so it's hard for me to say. That's what he said. He's friends with Yandel. Jimmy knows a lot of NHL guys. He's a writer and stuff like that. But come on, man. Okay, Philadelphia for sure is stupid for doing it when they did. I agree. They let him get his record, and then they cut him off his record probably at the worst time. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. But let's face it, like, I don't know about you, but years down the road when somebody says, you know, Keith Yandel is the longest record of playing without getting, you know, without injury or whatever, Ironman streak, I'm going to be like, yeah, but really, I mean, come on. The guy was horrible for 2 years. His coach was practically begging the organization to let him. Like it was so awkward in Florida to have Yandel playing on that team because he was so below where he needed to be in the NHL. He hasn't been an NHL caliber player for 2-3 years. And he just got his hand held all the way up to his, like, that's not how Doug Jarvis did it. Yeah. And yeah, Phil Kessel is a soft dude who doesn't play high contact. But at least he performed a role on his team all the way up. You know, like, he can play on the power play. He gets out. He was at a level that was NHL level for the whole time he did what he did. And, you know, I don't mind that, but Yandel was ridiculous that he actually made it to that. You wish you gave him his 1K. Like, I'm sorry, I don't. I don't care if he got his 1K. I don't care. Because he didn't deserve to be there to begin with. What does it matter? Like, if you're going to do what he did, you might as well just go out on the ice, skate for one, you know, skate around for a bit and then come off until you hit your 1,000K. Yandel is horrible, man. I mean, he's so bad. He was so bad. He was a terrible defensive player. Coach Quenneville was absolutely right when he was saying, like, it was so awkward, and he was absolutely right. I don't know what the hell it was in Florida. What was the league telling them that it was, you know, don't let Yandel get his. If you're gonna hand it to a guy, you might as well not give it to. Like, you might as well not get it. It's stupid. He is one of the worst defensive players and has been in the league for 2 to 3 years now. Diabolically bad defensively. Like, he's even worse than Leddy. He's worse than Barry. Or about the same, I guess. He's absolutely horrible. And soft. Oh my gosh. Do you ever see that guy? Like, he almost hurts himself avoiding contact. I'm surprised he didn't break an ankle avoiding contact. That's how bad he is, how soft he is of a defenseman. I bet you if it's not for the fact that he has an Ironman streak, if he was in Arizona this year, he wouldn't make that lineup. He was on Philadelphia, who has an absolutely disgustingly bad. I think Arizona might have a better defense on paper than Philadelphia. And he was a seventh defenseman, like barely playing. Like there's no, I don't know. That's all I got to say about that. The guy shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have got it. So I don't care. I just don't care. I don't care that he didn't get his 1,000. It doesn't matter to me. He shouldn't have got the record. As far as I'm concerned, he shouldn't have been on the ice. If you're that bad and the coach wants to sit you, sit. You know, when you're whining, oh, but my Ironman streak. So who gives a shit about your Ironman streak? You've just coughed up the puck 5 times yesterday and wouldn't go into a corner to save your life. Do I give a crap about your, like, no. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. That's why they had a trade for Yandel. He had a no trade clause. And they had a trade for Yandel somewhere. I don't know where the hell it would have been. I'm not sure. Remember that? The Florida Panthers were going to trade him, and they were threatening to not play him, if almost forcing him to accept the trade. It was obviously a team that wasn't. It was on his no trade list. 43 points in 69 games. Yeah. Do you remember that? And he didn't take the no trade clause to wherever he was going, whatever it was. He wouldn't lift it. And eventually, somebody let him play. I don't know what happened there, but I know one thing: it wasn't Coach Quenneville that made that decision. I mean, he drives possession fantastic. Defensively, he's below average, but he drives possession really well. He's a good offensive player. Very good offensive player. He's not too far away from Nurse. So is it worth it? I don't know. Nurse not worth it? Nurse has become much better defensively this year than he has been. It's better than Jones. It's certainly better than Jones. But we'll have to see how it plays out over time. Not defensively, I would say D'Angelo is not better than Hamilton. But as far as contract is concerned, that's why I said in the summer that I thought that was the contract of the year. That was amazing. What an amazing contract that was. Are you still in there, Elliot? Do you get this sick feeling that Boston's going to drop the ball against Columbus tonight? I can't get myself to go against Boston tonight. But I get this sick feeling that like it's that's enough time for them tonight, like for Columbus. But on the other hand, it also could be that Columbus is like Anaheim was last night with the Oilers, that there is no such thing as that's enough. Like it could be just that team is so young and hasn't played for so long. I lean that they're just too tired. They have too many young players that haven't played in the league long enough that at the end of the season they're done. Yeah, I guess if the surgeries and everything with Hamilton for sure, but his expected goals for and against when he's on the ice has been like really, really good. So I think that's a big boost for Swayman to say that we trust Swayman and we're going to take Swayman as a more tired team. I don't know why more coaches don't do that, by the way. Like, especially when you're playing a platoon like Allmark, you play your better goaltender with the tired team in front of you. They're doing it more now than they used to. Back in the day, you always had the backup play the second game of the back-to-back. Always, always, always. And I was like, why? Why are you doing that? Wouldn't you want your better goaltender and playing behind the tired team? But I think it has something to do with PK Subban's going to have to take a big pay cut next year for sure. He's going to have to take a big pay cut. Enormous pay cut, I would say. I really can't see anybody giving him too much. Well, we'll see. You never know. Teams will surprise you. I have a feeling that PK Subban's going to, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. Muzzin's going to be there for Florida, but Toronto against Florida. Is there any way in God's green earth that can be an under? Unless, the only way that can be an under is if Florida decides, you know what, the only way we're going to lose this game is if we try to run and gun with them. But I doubt it because Florida's depth, if they play an high-octane offensive pressure game, that's what kills the other teams. Is their third line is like most teams' first or second line. So, and in Toronto, that applies for sure. So I think Leafs would love Subban. I doubt it. Well, isn't that their first game back home off of a road trip, the Wild? Isn't that their first game back up? Oh, I guess I could check it out instead of just asking you. Yeah, that'll be their first game back off of the Eastern road trip. See, I'm not taking anybody anymore. I did it with Carolina. It's my last time. If Fleury is in net for Minnesota, I am probably either fading the game or taking Minnesota. From now on, I think. And I'm probably going to put, anybody know what's Minnesota getting for odds? What's Minnesota getting for odds? Yeah, I just, they don't need another guy like that, though. I don't know. For $1 million, maybe, to play, I don't know. Somebody will give him $1 million or $2 million. Somebody will. Yeah, they played well. But when they go up against Florida, it's not going to be pretty. Like any team, really, in the regular season, anyways. Like, I'm taking Florida all day in that game. Let's just tell you that right now. Florida's not going to lose that game. Florida is the best regular season team in the NHL right now, without a doubt. You got Marchment, Lundell, and Reinhart. Marchment's a point-a-game player right now. Lundell is already an unbelievable second line or two-way center. He's probably going to have to get traded eventually. Like they're not going to be able to afford him, I don't think. But while he's young and in the lineup, and then Reinhart on the wing, that is like just the stupidest third line ever right there. That's crazy. Not ever, but I'm overstating it a bit. But yeah, he could be like in that stratosphere. They're not going to be able to afford him. That's the problem. You think you got such an embarrassment of riches. They'll probably trade. Probably what's his name will be on the way out again. They'll probably have to trade Sam Bennett. Does he have a no trade clause with that? Yeah, he doesn't have a no trade clause. They'll probably trade Sam Bennett, and then they'll have to work on what they're going to do with Lundell contract afterwards. Because when he becomes a second line center, he's going to be getting like ridiculous amounts of money too. Gotta go see. Gotta go to hockey. Nice. Go play some hockey, buddy. Yeah. It's weird, eh? They haven't clinched a playoff spot yet. It's just they don't have the teams that are that bad. They should be clinching soon. The right ratio. So what do you think tonight, Lauren? Do you think they can beat Tampa? I know, like the thing that's keeping me away from Tampa right now is the fact that the Leafs are playing at a very high level right now. But Nylander is going to be out. I don't know. I think I'm just fading the game. It's getting close to that time, and I can't. I could almost see a draw here. I wonder. I should just put a little bit on the draw, I think. Toronto plus 1.5 makes sense. Vasquez hasn't been like knocking it out of the park lately, but you got to think in this big game. I almost like the under in that game. But who's the reason why the team is in any competitive anymore? Oh, Vasquez? Well, I mean, during the regular season, yeah, it's always been the way for the Lightning. Yeah, leaning that Lightning win in OT and the game stays under. I think the more I think about it, I think the under is the play there. It's just Campbell. Like if Campbell lets a couple in early, then Toronto's going to open up all the crap, right? I think I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit on the draw though. I think there's a really good chance of a draw there. That seems like the best play. And if you're gonna go the draw, you maybe want to like if you're really heavy on the draw, maybe try a 2-pick parlay on Leafs plus 1.5. Like if you look at that whole game, the recent games with them, like Toronto's just been out shooting everybody. Like I think they beat Florida, who was in a bad spot. Florida was in a bad spot in that game. Let me go to game logs here. Florida was in a bad spot, and then they go on the road to Boston. You know, it's been pretty impressive what they did too, because look at their recently Toronto was at Nashville, home to New Jersey, went on the road, came home and played Florida, but Florida was like 7th game of a road trip or something like that. But then they went on the road against Boston, then came back home against Winnipeg, won that, and now they went back on the road against Philadelphia and are on a 4-game trip against Tampa Bay. And then what? They got Florida right after this, right? I know one thing. They're not beating Florida. That I know for sure. They might win tonight, but they're not winning tomorrow. I don't believe they're winning tomorrow. And then Dallas, I don't know, but I would be all over Tampa Bay if Vasilevsky was playing better, which I don't know if it was totally his fault. Tampa Bay in general, like why they shit the bed against Montreal, I don't know. 5-2 Chicago. They beat Carolina 4-3. Really, how bad was Vasilevsky playing? No, it wasn't that bad. It's just that one game against Montreal, which is sort of an overlooked game. And then they got what? Washington and then back home. They play Toronto and then they're on the road against Washington. So they're thinking road on this game a little bit. When's the last time they played each other? They haven't played each other since December 9th, and Toronto won that 5-3. However, they were on a 1-2-3-4. They were on a 5-game road trip, and that was the 4th game of the 5 night. No, they won against Toronto. And then lost against Ottawa the very next game. At Toronto, they lost 2-1. Yo, CL, how you doing, buddy? I'm totally on the fence of that game, so I got to figure it's a draw then. I might throw a little. I'm going to throw a little bit on the draw. If I'm on the fence so much about a game, it's probably a draw. If Campbell plays half decent, I kind of like under 1.5 first period for some reason. Maybe you can get an under 2 there. Under 2 first period. That's the play. Can you get an under 2 and what is it paying? Under 2 first period. You can get team total over 2.5 for the Leafs in this game, if you like an over. But it's pretty juiced up though. Probably not a good idea. Under 2 pays 225. I'm on that. Under 2 plays plus 125. If you like the under in this game, I think it's a very good chance that both teams that feel each other out in the first period. Oh, Brian, I haven't talked to Brian in a long time. So CL, okay, we'll go back, we'll finish up where we started here. CL, does it matter to you at all that Yandel didn't get his 1,000? Philadelphia Flyers fan here. What does he say? I think the Philadelphia Flyers organization in itself is a basket case organization, and they pretty much drop the ball with everything they do. And they probably somewhat dropped the ball here, but I don't think it's horrific. What do you think, CL? What do you think about that? What did you think of that, CL? I guess you can't hear me now. Did he come in and just take off or what? Anyways, okay, I thought I'd get CL's a Philadelphia Flyers fan, so I thought I'd be able to ask him what he thought about it. I didn't hear from anybody else, but Yeah, I haven't talked to Brian in a long time. I don't even know if I still have his number now. I talked to him a little while ago. I like last year was the last time I talked to him, and but I would have loved if he would have kept on doing what he was doing. But I think he just realized that I think the stress of capping just wasn't for him. I think the stress of capping wasn't for him. And it can be very stressful depending on how you look at it, because you've got, especially when you're getting paid to do capping, you've got other people's money on in your hands. But I mean, I look at it as it's not my responsibility for people to over bet their income. It's supposed to be fun. So if people are over betting their income, then Brian sort of homered too much. Like that was I usually didn't trust Brian when it was about he was a Montreal fan and a Leafs fan, I guess. He was weird that way. But he was more of a Habs fan. Or was he? I can't remember now. But I don't know. Like I didn't really trust him when it came to Toronto and Montreal. I used to fade what he say about that. But I think I might put a little bit on the draw on that game. So I'll quickly go over the other ones today. You got to go Boston and Reg. Did I even put that in? Boston and Reg. Team total over 3.5 for Boston for sure. I got a weird feeling that Columbus is going to make this a game, that they're going to come out. Probably over 1.5 first period. Toronto, Tampa Bay. Yeah, I kind of lean to the under here too, because it's going to be like a big playoff type atmosphere game, especially the first period. So you can get under 2 at plus money. I feel that is a good. St. Louis team total over is probably the best play there. I also like them in regulation, but I think the juice is just too bad. Yeah. And it's their first game back off of a road trip. I'm just not sure it matters against a team like Arizona, who's also on a back-to-back. They got basically an AHL roster there, so. And then Calgary. I like Calgary tonight. I go against. I don't know. Like the Oilers on because they're it's easy to bet my Philadelphia Flyers team, except for the one last night, which ruined me, by the way. I had a beautiful day going until that. But you just bet them to lose. And the over. And team total over for the other team. For the Oilers, team total over for most teams that they play against. And against them too. And the over. And they're going to win against teams that have a soft defense. And they're going to get crushed against teams that don't. So, anybody like Carolina in a 7-game series against the Oilers, that would be disgusting. Like 4 games, Edmonton would be 4 games and out. Carolina would beat them. I would bet the sweep on that every single time. If they would have to make the finals for that to happen, and that's not going to happen. But if they had to go up, Colorado too, like Edmonton against Colorado, it would be, wouldn't even be close. I couldn't see the Oilers winning one game. I think even against LA is going to be LA's defensive system against Edmonton. Like I think Edmonton might be able to outscore them a couple in their goaltending. Like Peterson has played well as of late, but I mean, there's not much playoff experience there. You know, that could be a series that they might be able to take, maybe. But I wouldn't be strong on it. Minnesota, no. Calgary, no. Like, no way. Like, anybody who has a future on Edmonton to win the cup right now is pretty much just throwing your money away. You might as well just burn it. It's not going to happen. That's what I got to say about my team. Anyways, that's my full 42, guys. I got to go pick up. I won't be on tomorrow. I might be on Tuesday, maybe, but we'll see. Yeah, I won't be on tomorrow because, yeah, my wife's becoming a Canadian, full-fledged Canadian tomorrow. So we're going to be doing all that, and I imagine we'll be doing a lot of other stuff tomorrow to do with that. So have a great day, everybody. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, that could always happen too. Have a great day, everybody. Okay, bye.